Chibeng and our almanac for setting up this event. I was a little bit scared when Jan Fletcher started his presentation earlier. Said he's going to steal my topic. But actually I was not scared after a couple of minutes, because even though we have not talked, never, ever, neither with Ian Dillon or Jan Fletcher before, I think that our minds are really going into the same directions. Some of you, many of you know me as the spokesperson for Microsoft in Africa for the last 9 years. I left Microsoft a couple of months ago, and I created my own venture called Aetheis. Aetheis is an ancient Greek name, which means different. And I set that company up really to help companies in Mauritius and the continent of Africa to really make things differently and use technology, the nanotechnology and the future technology, to make things differently. I have a disclaimer for my presentation. I rehearsed yesterday evening, and it lasted 2 hours. So Chibeng, I will try to make it short. And the second disclaimer is, some of you may know that I am a free, thinking person. And I may shake some of your beliefs, because I believe that change starts when you push the limits. And you need to go out of your comfort zone. And Jan did a great job as well in showing you a couple of really weird things that may happen in the future. And so I will continue pushing those boundaries as well, and those limits. And so I apologize if I shake your beliefs, but this is really what I want to do in the next 40 minutes or so. So when I think of the future, actually, when you look at the media and what the media is showing us, is not really right. This poster was taken from a series that some of you may have seen, or if you've read the book by Margaret Atwood called The Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale is situated in a not so distant future, in a not so distant country, where basically women have become sterile. But there is a bunch of women who are still fertile, and those have been enslaved and used by the masters to continue humankind. It's not really the future that we aspire to, okay? And that's why the title, and I'm not going to say it, of this poster is really, it's not great. Having said that, if you're a reader, well, I am, there is a big man these days that the French magazine Le Point said he is the most important thinker of the 21st century. And he recently wrote an article that I really invite you to read in The Atlantic that is titled "Why Technology Favors Tyranny." And that gives a very, very gloomy view on technology and what technology can do for us. Okay, and don't get me wrong. I love Dr. Harari's *Sapiens*, Homo Deus, and 21 Lesson for the 21st Century. As much as I love Julian Assange, Chelsea Manning, or Edward Snowden as whistleblowers, because those guys make you think differently. They force you to think about who we are and where we're going in a different way. But now we need to balance with the reality we're living in. And this is really what I want to do in this 35 minutes that I have left. Really to walk you through, to make you think, and to give you guidance or ideas or how technology can help Mauritius, how technology can help Africa, based on my experience as well over the last 9 years of very successful and big failures in digital transformation. So, just as a start, I want to say something, and I'm not subscribing to the media view gloom and doom future. The digital future is just fantastic. It's bright. And this is our future. Our future is just incredible. And I hope that by the end of my talk you will agree that this is a massive and tremendous opportunity. So let's start with really where we are. Okay? And again, the two yams made a great points around where technology is, where companies are today in the path to transformation. But as I said, I'm gonna disrupt the thinking, and I'm going to be irreverent sometimes. We hear a lot about robots and automation and blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah. This is the past. This is gone. If you're not automated today, you have one foot in the grave. Fortunately, you just want a foot, so you can take the foot out. Okay, until you don't have 2 feet, you're safe. But the thing is, robots and automation are 3.0. And as Jan Fletcher said this morning, 3.0 is over. Not that we won't have more robots in the future, and we saw that how robots are going to displace jobs as well. But there will be different robots. I had the privilege to do my engineering studies in robotics in the 80s. That's 40 years ago, close to 40 years ago. And when you look at technology today of a robotic arm and what it was in the 80s, it's the exact same technology. It's a piece of plastic or a piece of metal, a motor, an electric motor, and that just moves that arm around. So what is behind is much more interesting. And this is what has changed really in the last 10 years or so. But I really want to make that point is automation is something of the past. If you have not embraced automation, do it quickly. Otherwise, it will be too late. Now, because I love words, robot is an interesting word. You know where it's coming from? Any guess? It's not an English name, it's not a French name, it's a Czech name. Okay? That was coined, actually that was used for the first time in 1930. And robot means forced labor. And so it's just, how we can do something which is easier for human beings. And so it's not about really something which is intelligent. It's just, I want to take something which is hard, which is cumbersome, which is tiring, and I want to move that to a machine because machines will do that much better. And so robots is really a 20th century paradigm. Okay, so this is really over. So, but what is not over, and what will continue, and we heard a lot about it today and yesterday, is artificial intelligence and how machines are changing the game. And again, I want to make it very, very clear, and I love the point that Jan Thielen made as well, is that don't fight change, embrace it. Okay? Machines learn faster, better, longer than we all do. Okay? And we cannot fight against that. It's the reality. Okay? If you're still running, been working for Microsoft, I will take some examples from Microsoft. You're still running Windows XP today, you're dinosaurs. Okay, so think about changing. And you may change for Linux, you may change for Apple, you may change for Windows, I don't care. But the thing is that machines go faster. And we talked about Moore's law, and we'll come back on that in a minute as well, to make you understand where we are in terms of really numbers and why machines are exploding their kind of intelligence. But I want to take a point on machines and artificial intelligence quickly. Who has heard about AlphaGo? AlphaGo? Nobody? Yeah? A couple of guys? Okay. So a few years back, Google purchased a startup called DeepMind. DeepMind was a company who was really exclusively focusing on AI. And DeepMind raised a machine, let's call it a machine, who was playing Go. And we heard about IBM Deep Blue late in the 90s, where basically Deep Blue beat a chess player, grandmaster. So AlphaGo and the Go game, basically, and I don't know how to play Go, but it's known as being much more complex than chess. And AlphaGo beat the biggest Go master of the world. That was kind of wow, a wow moment. It's wow, we can make a machine that really is bright to beat those big guys. So, fantastic. How did AlphaGo work? Google fed AlphaGo with dozens and hundreds and thousands of Go games. And so it's learned by watching others. And then a bunch of engineers at DeepMind says, let's do an experience. So we're going to take the same kind of machine, but now we're not going to teach that machine the previous games. We're just going to teach that machine the rules of Go. So they gave the rules, very simple, a couple of pages, and they instructed the machines, play against yourself, and we'll come back in a couple of days. And AlphaGo Zero did that, because machines just do what they are asked to do. And they came back a couple of days, and they had AlphaGo Zero played against AlphaGo. And AlphaGo Zero beat AlphaGo Zero, it beat AlphaGo every single game. So they said, okay, we're going to bring the master in. So they brought the master in, and AlphaGo Zero beat the master every single game. But what was interesting about that? It's not only the learning piece. AlphaGo Zero learned how to play Go better. But when we asked the masters, how did you feel the game went? They said, very, very strange. First, some moves were blatant mistakes. A master will never, ever do. So it was kind of, no, this thing cannot really make that mistake if it's that intelligent. So they made mistakes. The whys and the hows are still to be devised, but that was the first thing. The second thing was some moves, because it was kind of mistakes, were very weird, and we found it was a kind of alien moves. So it was not really human. But the third, which was probably more interesting, is when you play Go, you have different fronts, and you play, your game in different areas of the board. And generally, the player focuses on a specific area and then moves to other areas, really to set up their environment. AlphaGo Zero was playing everywhere across the board.